Anybody care about what I want?
I do.
Shut up. Get out.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to BLB Talks. Today we're going to be talking about the 5 teams in the NBA who have the best offseason. Now, offseason includes the NBA draft, it includes free agency, and includes any trades that was done anytime after the playoffs in the NBA and before the start of the regular season in the NBA. So right now we're in the offseason, so we're gonna dive into 5 teams who really stood out among the rest of the teams in the NBA and really show that they had a superior offseason. First team that I am going to be talking about is the Indiana Pacers. The Indiana Pacers had one of the better off seasons of any team in the NBA. Simply because they added pieces, I think, that complemented their core of Victor Oladipo, Miles Turner, and Domantas Sabonis. They added guys such as Tyreke Evans, who last year was a 20-point scorer. He also shot 40% from the three-point line, which is going to help space the floor for those guys in Indiana. And he also brings a secondary ball handler. And if you looked at that Indiana Pacers Cleveland Cavaliers series last year, a big problem for Indiana was having another guy that can create offense for other people as well as offense for himself. So adding him in the Eastern Conference without a LeBron James is going to really help the Indiana Pacers, and you should look out for them to take one of those top 4 seeds next year. The second team I wanted to talk about was the Phoenix Suns. I think the Phoenix Suns had a great draft. They did excellent. They were able to pick up the number 1 overall pick in DeAndre Ayton, and I feel like he was the most NBA ready and just overall the best prospect over Luka Doncic last year in the NBA draft, as well as picking up Mikal Bridges, the NCAA champion Mikal Bridges, 2-time actually. He had a great college, junior year in college. He averaged 17 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 45% from the three-point line, uber efficient, long wingspan, probably going to be one of the best defenders in this draft, and eventually probably one of the best defenders in the league, given his physical gifts. Another thing about the Phoenix Suns that I really liked was the signing of Trevor Ariza. And I don't think a lot of people are getting really hype over that signing because he's not a big name. And they already have a bunch of small forwards on the roster, but I don't really think that Josh Jackson nor Mikal Bridges are going to be able to come in right away and, be a force that's going to help the Phoenix Suns win. Right now they have a hole at the point guard position. They did draft this guy named Akobo, in the second round, first pick in the second round. I've been told he's a pretty good point guard. He's very athletic, can shoot the ball, can defend his position. So he's a rookie as well. So you have a rookie. Devin Booker's a third-year player, just got a max contract. So he's still young, 22 years old, but he had a monster season last year. So he's going to be looked upon as the leader. And with that money, he's going to look to take his game to the next level, both as a playmaker and also as a defender. But I think Trevor Ariza is a great addition because he brings veteran leadership, and he gives them a guy who can defend perimeter player, as well as being someone who can stretch the floor for guys like DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker to operate in the painted area. So Phoenix, I think, was the 4th best team as far as offseason additions. All right, the third team I thought had the best offseason out of any team in the NBA probably would have to be, I'm going to get a little flack for this, I think, but I think the Chicago Bulls had the 3rd best offseason. And it's not because I'm from the Chicagoland area. I'm not even a Bulls fan. I'm Philly all day. Y'all already know that from my last video. I love Philadelphia. That's where my fandom is at. But Chicago had a great year. My hometown team, they did well. Picking up Jabari Parker, and the draft selections that they made is really what's going to put these guys into the top 5 for me, because they were able to add Wendell Carter Jr. as well as Chad Hutchinson. Now Wendell is a big who can defend the perimeter, defend the post, can stretch defenses out to the three-point line. They have to respect his jump shot because he is a good shooter, as he showed in the Summer League and during his time at Duke, as well as Chandler Hutchinson, the 6'7" forward out of Boise State. His jump shot's still a work in progress, but he is a solid defender, and he's able to attack the basket better than I think any other player in the draft. So you have somebody who's going to attack the basket, you got somebody who's going to defend the basket that can also stretch the defenses out, as well as his fit on the team. Chandler Hutchinson's fit on the team, I think the Bulls needed somebody who can generate baskets in the painted area from the perimeter, and I don't think they had that last year. Zach LaVine signing, I didn't necessarily like it, because I think Zach LaVine is more of a six-man opposed to a guy that you're going to give $20 million to annually. But I do think Zach LaVine in the right role can be effective for a playoff team. So it really depends on the coaching of Fred Hoiberg from this point on, and how he meshes the young talent of Lauri Markkanen, Wendell Carter Jr., Chandler Hutchinson, and Zach LaVine. And not to mention Chris Dunn as well, but I think Chris Dunn is somebody who is not going to be on the Chicago Bulls for much longer, because Chris Dunn is more of an offensive-minded guard opposed to one who's going to distribute the ball and get these guys their shots. And also the move that I think to put the Bulls over the top for me and put them into this top five is the sign of Jabari Parker. I know a lot of people don't like that because of his injury history combined with Zach LaVine's injury history. It kind of, it puts a lot of unpredictable situations that could occur this upcoming season with the Chicago Bulls, but I think it was a risk worth taking. He only signed a 2-year contract, and the second year is a team option, so the team could get rid of him after this year if it's not working out. So I think it was a good risk, because the Bulls aren't winning anything right now, so I think it was best for them to accumulate as much talent as possible and just see what happens from there, and just go in a direction where I think the youth will take them, and the Bulls might challenge for the 8th seed this year, so who knows. So I think they had a good year, given where they were at last year, and just given the selections and decisions that they made this offseason. The second team that I think had the second best offseason out of any other team in the NBA had to be Golden State. I think Golden State was able to get DeMarcus Cousins at a bargain, $5 million. On top of that, they retained their core. They just won a championship last year, so they didn't really have to do anything. But I think that they did a good job of just retaining everybody and making sure that, they didn't mess up. So that was the biggest thing for Golden State. Just don't mess up. Don't do anything that will hurt your team. And I think adding DeMarcus Cousins is adding another all-star to your team. It's adding a guy who has a great relationship with Kevin Durant and Draymond Green already on the roster. And it also brings a guy in who wants to change the narrative surrounding who he is. Around the NBA, a lot of people think DeMarcus Cousins is a knucklehead. They think he's someone that's uncoachable. They think he's somebody that will abruptly just turn on his teammates and turn on just staffs of the team, reporters and things like that. And I think DeMarcus Cousins is trying to change the narrative, not only on the way he can play basketball with other great players, but also just personality-wise, and showing that he can fit on a championship team. So I think Golden State they did a great thing by getting him on the bargain, because he was injured, and nobody really showed interest in him in this offseason. So I think scooping him up on the cheap was a really good move. And the team who was able to have the best NBA offseason would have to be the LA Lakers. All right, this is pretty obvious. You grab LeBron James, you pretty much secure that top spot in the offseason. The Los Angeles Lakers were able to nab LeBron James from the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the decision probably wasn't ultimately about basketball. It's probably about his living situation, as well as seeing his son play in a school that surrounded him with other top talent. And, it's LA. Everybody loves LA. Sunshine, palm trees, beach. That's a whole bunch of other stars also to communicate with and build your brand with. He also opened the I Promise School in Akron, Ohio. So he's doing great things, LeBron James. And I think being in LA is going to be great for his brand. It's also a good chance to revitalize a Los Angeles Lakers franchise that, let's just say, underachieved over the past 5 years and was not able to live up to the expectations of their fans. But with LeBron James, you can rest assured that you're at least going to make the playoffs, and when the playoffs do come around, you're going to make some noise. The other additions that they made with Rajon Rondo and Lance Stevenson and JaVale McGee and Michael Beasley are questionable. They're very questionable decisions. But I do believe that those decisions will ultimately prove to be the correct ones to make, because they do offer veteran leadership. They do offer playoff experience, especially in Rajon Rondo's case, being the starting point guard for the Boston Celtics during the 2007-2008 season, in which they won the NBA championship. He was surrounded with a bunch of other great players, so he knows how to work with great players, even though he is a bit of a knucklehead and hot-tempered. I think he ultimately will bring an edge and toughness to that team that was lacking over the years, as well as Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, and hopefully Lonzo Ball, with Josh Hart's improvement, will also help the team grow and mature as well. And when you have LeBron James, you're going to get shots, you're going to get open looks. Just make sure you can knock them down. And that is the 5 NBA teams who have the best 2018 offseason. Please like, subscribe, and add some comments below. Let me know what you thought about this video. Let me know if anything could have been improved on, or if there's any topics in the NBA that you would like for me to talk about. And yeah, just throw out everything that you're thinking of, all the ideas that you have in the comment section. And take care. And I hope you guys have a great day.
At the destination after all. No one ever taught me how to ball. I just studied all the legends that came before me, like Dr. Dre, E40, Ye, Jigga, and Nas. The list goes forever when you talk about them guys. I stay grounded, so I'm never gonna change. Years later, my best friends the same. Now we all up in the room when we got the champagne.